Hello, everybody. Welcome to Election Analysis 2024. And today we are going to be talking about the state of the 2024 election and where the Electoral College map stands as of today. The first thing we'll be doing is labeling the safe states for Donald Trump. These are states that Donald Trump is going to win by a relatively safe 10 to 15 point margin, states that we know Donald Trump will carry at the end of the day. When you finish that total, Donald Trump is at 148. Donald Trump will have 148 electoral votes. These are electoral votes we know he is going to get. Now we will do the same thing for Kamala Harris and really talk about realistically which states she's going to win. You hear a lot of talk about states that um, Trump could be putting in play and things that he's going to flip this, he's going to flip that. But if we're talking about a realistic election, this is what is going to be relatively in play. I could see any of these states that are on my map that are not gray right now, um, being states that could be within 5 points, which is why we don't label them exactly. So now what we're going to do is go into states that are very likely for a certain candidate. So, for example, Texas. Yes, Donald Trump might not win it by 10 points, but Donald Trump is going to carry Texas. Democrats have tried for many election cycles to swing Texas to the left, swing Texas blue. They invested tons of money, but if you look at Harris's campaign, they're really not focusing on states like Texas, Iowa, Ohio, Florida. These are states that they are trying to honestly not put money and time in because they know realistically they need to hone down on the Rust Belt states. They need to hone down on Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and focus on defending in a election cycle that is, well, let's just face it, it's better for Donald Trump this time around. And so the Harris campaign is really focusing on defending, which they have plenty of ground to defend. Now, if we do the same thing for Kamala Harris, you'll see Colorado, a likely state there, and you will see New Jersey, a likely state there. And that is what we have. I'm sorry, completely forgot the state of Hawaii. How dare I? This is where we have. This is Kamala Harris's and the Democrats' floor. This is the lowest they are going to get. There's no really way they are going to drop below 191. And Donald Trump and the Republicans, they are really not going to drop below 218 electoral votes. There really isn't just a way they're going to do so. So these are both candidates' floors, which is, you'll notice for Trump, way better than 2020. So now we'll start looking into the polls. And the first state we're going to look at is Georgia. And so you look at Georgia, and you'll see Trump had really safe 5 to 7 point lead the entire time. This is dating back to March 5th, 2024, and all the way through 2024, Trump held a pretty solid lead. And up until Joe Biden withdrew from the race, he held a 6 point lead. That is really great for the state of Georgia. This is a state that went blue in 2020. For Trump, carrying Georgia opens up so many different paths that honestly, a 7 p.m. poll closing time, this is the state that I'm going to be looking at most come election night. But Joe Biden is not in the race anymore. It is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, these polls are from July 22nd to the 24th, and these are what the polls are showing. Trump against Biden, he was doing well, 5-4-4. Trump against Harris, not as great. Trump performed slightly worse against Kamala Harris, but you'll notice 3 different pollsters all had Donald Trump up still, meaning Donald Trump, it is pretty safe to say, does have the lead right now in the state of Georgia. We can characterize that as a lean Republican state as of right now, because I do believe where the election stands today, Donald Trump has a 3 to 5 point lead in the state as of today. The next state we are going to be looking at is the state of North Carolina, where Donald Trump held a lead. Again, similar to Georgia, he held a 5 to 7 point lead the entire time in the 2024 election cycle up until July 20th, Joe Biden's withdrawal date, where you look at recent polls, Donald Trump is still up, and he's up considerably for the state of North Carolina especially. Trump, of course, not having Biden-like numbers in terms of a 6 point lead, 9 point lead. You can see these different polls. Emerson College, you look at Redfield and Wilton. Uh, you have this most recent poll, two Kamala Harris polls showing Trump up 3, Trump up 4. Well, you see that. Those are the only polls we have as of right now, based on North Carolina's DNA, based on the past of North Carolina, based on where these polls are showing. I have full expectation as of today that North Carolina will be a lean Republican state. The next state we're going to look at is the state of Virginia, a state that in 2020 was not fought over at all. This is my home state. I live in the state of Virginia, and I live in a very competitive county in Virginia as well, and I did not see any campaigns. I really did not campaign ads, sorry. I didn't see any of that. There were no really rallies in Virginia. Trump did one, but it was in Virginia Beach, and that was early in the season. This state was not fought over. There's no doubt about it. So, what's different? Well, Biden is not liked in Virginia, and neither is Kamala Harris. You can see Trump against Harris here, Florida Atlantic University, but you see Trump against Biden here, up 3, even, +1 against Harris, +4 against Harris, even, Biden +1, Harris, +4, +1. This state voted for Biden by just over 10 points in 2020. In 2021, voted for a Republican governor in about a 12-point swing from the previous year. This is a very unpopular president in Joe Biden in the state of Virginia, and just Kamala Harris as well. Not a popular candidate, and the polls show it. This is the latest poll in Virginia, small sample sizes, and they are about 10 days ago. But this is what I have to work with, including Virginia's past and its DNA. I don't think Virginia, as of right now, is leaning towards Donald Trump. I think as of right now, if the election were held today, I do believe that it would go to Kamala Harris by a lean margin. I need to see more polls. I need to see more data that would tell me otherwise that Virginia is going to be a red state. Is it possible? Yes. I think it'll be 2016 or 2012 Virginia, where this is going to be a state that is going to be fought over. Again, it is early in this election cycle. We haven't even seen a debate between Trump or Vice President Harris yet. So, as of right now, I am characterizing Virginia as a lean Democratic state. Moving on to the state of New Mexico. New Mexico polls, this is mid to late June. This is Biden up 2, Biden up 1, Biden up 7. Do I think Harris will perform better in New Mexico against Trump? I think she'll perform worse than Joe Biden just because of how she polls with Hispanics. I think that Trump will perform better than Biden, however, than Biden would in New Mexico, but I don't believe that New Mexico, as of yet, again, is going to be a Donald Trump state. I think we need more data. I think it'll be a lean margin as of right now. I think Kamala Harris has a boost right now, based on the news about she's kind of riding this wave of basically having the nomination. Maine at large as well, as of right now, until I see otherwise, will be a Democrat lean margin, and I could say the same thing about Maine District 2. I believe will be a lean margin as of right now. I don't see that being anything otherwise. And this is why Georgia is so crucial for Kamala Harris for Kamala Harris to win, because Georgia opens up so many doors for Donald Trump. He can win Pennsylvania, and he is at 270. So I will wait to do Pennsylvania, of course. I will move on to the state of Minnesota, where Biden held a small lead all election cycle until right before his dropout, where they were even statistically tied. Trump even led Biden in a poll there. And then the only poll that is Trump and Harris has Harris up 3. That's what I have to go off of. I do think Minnesota is leaning more blue. However, I think it'll be a 1 to 3 point margin. I think it will be a lean blue state, especially as of right now. This is if the election were held today, essentially. So I think if the election were held today, it would be a lean Democratic margin, putting Vice President Harris at 221 electoral votes. Now I'd like to head to New Hampshire, which, when Biden was running, he was a candidate. It looked tight. It looked close. They don't like incumbents. That's the case. Well, Trump and Biden were both the president at some point. Biden currently, Trump 4 years ago. So they don't like him, and this is why you see these poll numbers 40 to 39, 44-22. Simply just not great numbers for either candidate in the state of New Hampshire. However, she's up 6, up 7, up 6 here. So this is what we have to base off of. Of course, you have Trump up 1 and even, but realistically, New Hampshire right now, I'm going to go with 4 to 5 points. I'm going to put it in the lean Democrat column. I believe that will go to Kamala Harris, which leaves us with 5 very familiar states that we will be looking at all of the election cycle. The state of Nevada, which, I mean, let's be honest, has overestimated Trump support, Republican support in general. It's historically known for that. However, Trump has held a consistent lead. Polls show that he would win Nevada against Joe Biden. However, it's not Joe Biden, it's Kamala Harris. So I do think Donald Trump is slightly ahead in the state of Nevada. However, this 10 point, I'm not really counting this 10 point. I mean, he's not going to win Nevada by 10. We know he's not going to win Nevada by 10. I think it shows he would do good. But this is July 15th. It's very crucial to check the dates on these polls where Harris was assumed to be on the ticket as a vice president candidate, not a presidential candidate, which you'll see here where Trump's only up 2 of. So maybe a little more skewed towards Harris. However, Trump is still up, and I think if the election were held today, that yes, the state of Nevada would lean towards Donald Trump. The 6 electoral votes in Nevada would go there, giving Donald Trump 257, just 13 electoral votes away from the presidency once again. Next state we're going to look at is the state of Arizona, a state that Donald Trump was pretty unpopular in 2020, a state that he lost in 2020, a state that he really would like to win, a state that would be really big for him to win here. And the polls show Donald Trump hasn't wavered too much in the state of Arizona. He held a pretty consistent 2 to 5 point lead, 3 to 5 point, you could even say, the entire election cycle against Joe Biden. And the 2 polls we have of him versus Harris, he's up 8 and he is up 3. If you're Donald Trump and you see these 2 polls from Emerson Collison, Redfield, and Wilton Strategies, you're like, okay, sure, I am glad with that. And he should be, because all you see is Trump up 7, 10, 5, all the way up. It's Trump, 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 and Trump. This is where Donald Trump wants to be in the state. I believe right now, if the election were held today, Donald Trump would carry the state of Arizona, putting him at 268 electoral votes, putting him, well, a simple Nebraska district away from tying, getting to 269, or any Rust Belt state to win. Let's start with the Rust Belt state that I think is going to be really interesting, and that's the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin really was tight the entire since March. It's been tight. I don't think it's been over a 3.9% lead for either candidate, I believe, and it's just only gotten tighter. And it was Joe Biden down by 2.4 points to Donald Trump when he dropped out. And we have 3 polls, 2 from Emerson Collins, 1 from Redfield and Wilton Strategists. And this is what we have. Harris up 1, Harris up 1, even. Well, that doesn't tell us much now, does it? What we do know is that third-party candidates, RFK, helps Donald Trump in this state from this Emerson poll. That's essentially a tie. Same thing with this Redfield poll, third-party candidates included. Harris up 2 here. I do believe that if Harris can ride this campaign, this is if the election was held today, I do think, just narrowly, Kamala Harris would hold on to the state of Wisconsin if the election were held today. This is where the numbers are. They're riding pretty high momentum. I do believe that Wisconsin would just narrowly go to her. It's not so much data, it's hard to say, but this is if the election were held today. I do believe Wisconsin would go by under a point margin. Next, that is the state of Pennsylvania, the state that is going to be probably the biggest one in election night, the state that Donald Trump's attempted assassination was in. And you can see his poll numbers increased. He was up 4.5 points in Pennsylvania when Joe Biden dropped out. And what you'll see here is there are plenty of polls right now in Pennsylvania, from July 20th, that is. And you'll see Donald Trump was up pretty well. This is against Joe Biden, back in July 20th. He's up 4. He's up 4 against Kamala Harris. He's up 9 against Biden. 7-2. He's doing well. He was doing well against Biden. Biden dropped out. You see Kamala Harris 4 numbers. Trump up 2. Trump up 2. Trump up 2. And Trump up 4. Then you see these more recent ones from the Bullfinch group here, and you'll see Harris up 1 and even. And at the end of the day, you look at these polls and you say, where's Pennsylvania going to go? It's hard to tell. Pennsylvania, Trump lost by 1.2% in 2020. It was a competitive state, but I do think right now, if the election were held today, Donald Trump would win the state of Pennsylvania by a lean margin. I believe he would win by over a percentage point, but under 3, which would give him the election essentially. Meaning, yes, I do believe Donald Trump would win the election against Kamala Harris if the election were held today. Now, these two, Michigan and then Nebraska District 2, don't matter too much. Nebraska District 2 right now, I think, would lean towards Kamala Harris. And if we look at Michigan, a little bit tighter than Pennsylvania. It gives more of a Wisconsin-esque voter type than Pennsylvania. And you look at Emerson here against Harris, Trump up 2 even. You look at SoCal, Trump up 3, and then look at Redfield and Wilton, Trump up 3, and you see I don't have a doubt that if the election were held today, Donald Trump would win Michigan. I do believe it would be by a tilt margin. I do believe that Kamala Harris is riding a huge wave of momentum right now, which is a pretty big reason as to why some of these margins might be closer, or maybe she'll win Wisconsin or Minnesota or Nebraska too, or whatever it may be. At the end of the day, if the election were held today, July 26th, 2024, Donald Trump, I believe, would be the winner based on polls and my political analysis. I believe the electoral vote count would be 302 to 236. And I believe it would be a pretty convincing win with him winning the popular vote by about 1% or 2. That is how I see it today. Thank you guys so much for watching this political analysis video. This is my first video, so thank you very much if you are here at the end to see the result of how these states went and how the election went overall. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know. If you have any recommendations for what videos you would like to see in the future, political analysis-wise, news-wise, whatever you want, political predictions even, this is what I like doing. That's what I did right now. Please just drop a comment down below and let me know. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.